Roll Tide! Roll Tide Roll! Welcome to the Alabama Crimson Tide Football Podcast. Here are your hosts, Brent Mason and Jamie Thomas.
And here we go. Welcome to Week 4 of the Alabama Crimson Tide Podcast, broadcasting live from the comfort of our custom-made Alabama and Auburn recliners. Woo. I'm Brent Mason. My co-host, as always, Jamie Thomas. War Eagle, brother.
Extra special Roll Tide tonight, buddy. This microfiber chair is rocking it.
Now, Jamie has it's very cool. It has the Alabama logo on the headrest and on the footrest as well. He's got a really nice microfiber chair. I'm doing an all leather chair. This company does them a couple of different ways. Pick the one you like, but they're really nice. Look, there ain't nothing better than sitting at the house with a cold one and watching the game this fall from your own custom Alabama or Auburn recliner. We worked out a deal with the company that hooked us up so they can hook you up with a 9% discount. If you want to check out these chairs, head on over to southeasternfootball.com/chair, southeasternfootball.com/chair. You can be sitting in your recliner with us while we're doing the podcast. We just be a bunch of lazy folk talking about football and reclining.
Well, what better way to spend the preseason than to discuss from football?
I can't think of any other way. I just want to really quickly get an announcement out of the way, a couple out of the way early. If you're interested at all in an Auburn podcast, we do one of those as well. Comes down on the same app and also on the same podcast. So if you subscribe to the podcast, you get them both. If you downloaded the app, you get them both. And we added the Android app. I come off the money. I borrowed it from my great grandma, and I paid the money to put the Android app in the App Store. So if you're an Android user and you were upset because only iOS users could get the app, well, you can too. Just look for Tigers and Tide Show. All right, brother, let's jump right into it. It was kind of a short week one fall camp for Alabama, but week one nonetheless.
Yeah, it was a little strange starting a little bit later in the week than Auburn did. I think practice kicked off Friday. It's, man, as a Bama fan, you got to be excited with what you're seeing come out right now. I guess we'll touch on the positives first. The quarterback battle, the media, has seemed to put this between David Cornwell and Jake Coker, but in 7-on-7s today, the freshman, the true freshman, Blake Barnett, just absolutely showed out. So it looks like Bama's going to have three options at quarterback, and that battle's going to go on into fall camp. Like I said, everybody expecting Coker to win the job just because he's the senior in the group. Cornwell would be the backup just because he's been there. But I'm telling you, man, it really looks like Blake Barnett's making a push for that starting position.
Yeah, well, don't nobody get too fancy for yourself now, because my partner and co-host right there called that a couple of weeks ago. You said that that would be tough, and you said he would be in the hunt 100%.
Well, he just has a cannon of an arm. He's accurate. I was watching some of the video earlier, some of the passes he was making, working with some of the receivers especially. He seems to have developed this little bit of a bond with Calvin Ridley. They were making some throws, making some catches. It just looks like they've been playing together forever. And Barnett, you can kind of look at him and see that he has that confidence. He's going to be a playmaker for Bama. May not be this year. It may work out to where it's Coker or Cornwell, but this kid's going to be on the field next year for sure.
I have a theory about that, and I like to get into theories that aren't just X's and O's. You know me. I've done it before. I think that if he could stand up, or Cornwell, either one, and just be in there and be in the hunt, I think Saban and Kiffin would give him the nod just because it means that they're going to get to mold, train, and have a guy in that position like you had with other guys in the past who were just fixtures for 2 to 3 years, because there's a lot to be said for that. It really sets you up well for next year. If the guy's good enough to hold it down this year, you are really set up for next year.
It does, and I guess there is a difference in being a true freshman first year starter and being a sophomore or junior or even senior first year starter. But this guy's got more talent than what we've seen even out of A.J. McCarron over the last few years. And McCarron was a great quarterback that played for Alabama, but this kid is going to break if he stays healthy. He'll break every record that Alabama has as far as a signal caller.
I like it. I love watching battles like that, man. I think it raises everybody's level. Everybody raises to a new level when you got a good battle like that.
Yeah, if nothing else, it should definitely make Coker or Cornwell a little bit better.
Yeah, well, they got to be. You can't feel comfortable, man.
The other thing that really excites me, Derrick Henry, man, the dude, he's always been that big, solid running back, but he just looks like he's just been chiseled out of stone this year. Put him up against a brick wall, and I'm pretty sure he'd run right through it. We're looking at him. We're looking at Kenyon Drake and, sharing snaps in the backfield. Drake, the video I've seen of him, he looks healthy. He doesn't look like he's missed a step. I told you a couple of weeks ago the rumors have been that he'd actually picked up a little bit on his 40 time, and if you watch the video, he looks better than he ever has. He's going to be a big-time contributor. The backfield, already has its identity with Henry and Kenyon Drake.
Absolutely, man. You loaded up. You loaded up for Bear back there, man. It's like having 2 Tomahawk missiles loaded up. You can't go wrong with either one, and you certainly can't go wrong with both. Good Lord.
Well, just imagine both of those guys on the field at the same time. Henry in the backfield, Drake in the slot. I mean, you put the ball in either one's hand, and something big's about to happen. I mean, it's crazy.
And how do you cover that? I mean, scheming for that, it's got to be impossible. Where you can either have the handoff, you can do little bubble out screens, you can have the curl bags, you got the guy from the slot, you can do the passing game. I mean, it's just from those 2 guys. That ain't counting who else you got lined up. So, yeah, those dudes are awesome. I need to shut up, though. I forgot I was an Auburn fan.
Hey, I like hearing you talk about how great Alabama is. That's the positives. Bama has had some injuries the first couple of days of practice. Actually looked like the big one was going to be Cam Robinson, but he was back at practice this morning, showing absolute no signs of what looked like maybe a knee sprain yesterday. Yeah,
well, some guys jumped the gun on that. When that first story first broke, it was broken leg or broken foot or something, and somebody jumped the gun trying to get a story on that.
Yeah, well, he's back. Did not miss practice today. Looked really good. I don't know. If he had gone down, that would have been a big hit for Bama, because that left tackle position, especially with a first-year quarterback, you got to have somebody there that can protect him off of that side rush. If Cam had gone down, that would have been a huge hit to our offensive line. So thank goodness he's doing fine. And then
you're kind of in the same boat with Auburn, where you've got an issue with a player that's just got to be frustrating if you're an Alabama fan.
Yeah, well, I'm assuming you're talking about Bo Scarborough.
Yeah.
Yeah, he, Bo's a beast. He's a great running back. He's going to contribute to Alabama this year, along with Henry and Drake. But this suspension, and it kind of leads me to question some things a little bit. He was already going to be out the first 4 games of the season anyway,
right.
Recovering from that knee surgery. So, the suspension really doesn't hurt us. I'm not real happy with the way the suspension was timed, because, really it just kind of looks like, hey, he was going to be out anyway, let's suspend him. I think maybe Coach Saban should have tacked on a couple of more games, really made it hurt Bo just a little bit, make him understand that, kind of like what we talked about Duke. He's not bigger than the game. He's definitely not bigger than the team. So I wasn't real happy with that, from a fan standpoint. But, in Saban we trust.
Yeah, and because if there's no punishment, you're really sitting there wondering, well, if this, we're close to the end of the season, it's all on the line, and we have issues because there really was no punishment at the beginning of the season. And so, you don't ever want to see a guy off the field, but if it's going to be better for you in the long run, then just pull him off the field and punish him. But, that can't feel like much of a punishment to him. I just got to admit him.
Yeah, just like I said, the timing of it really didn't make sense to me, and then the length of the suspension really didn't make a whole lot of sense to me. But as Coach says, it is what it is. Bama did have a couple of more injuries in practice today. A guy we've been counting on to really kind of lock down the secondary, Tony Brown. He got just absolutely plowed by Robert Foster. It was crazy. He stayed down. From what I understand, he stayed down for about 10 minutes, and they finally got him up. He actually walked to the locker room, but he had some upper body injuries. Looked like maybe a collarbone from what people are saying, so you just got to hope that's not broke or some type of dislocation or something like that. Chris Black had a sprained ankle, so he didn't practice with the first team today. With Black being out, having Ardarius Student and Richard Milani there, that's a pretty big depth area for Bama. So if Black's out for a little bit, not really that concerned about depth issues. If you have to, Coach, just let him rest until the season starts.
All right, that covers injuries and offense. What we haven't talked about yet is defense, and we will take a look at that in just a second. First, I want to talk about our brand new sponsor to the show today, Odds Worth Betting, OWB. Unless you want to be like Jamie Thomas and your betting system is just always bet on Bama no matter what.
Never bet on Bama.
It helps to have some help, and these guys have the stat hack sheet. They're up this year. They've tracked every bet since January through this month. Of course, there hasn't been any college football yet. It's been in other sports, but they have a pretty good record. Betting a C note every bet have you up 13,000 so far this year, halfway through the year. It's a pretty good plan. The cool thing is they'll show you the proof and they'll show you the record, and you can actually sign up and get some free picks sent straight to your email. So if you want to have a little bit of edge, a little bit of advantage, if you like to drop a little here, a little there during the football season, I like to make my bookie feel the pain, Jamie. I like it when I make him feel the pain.
You like for him to pay you.
Yeah. So if you want to check out Odds Worth Betting, you can go to southeasternfootball.com/win, southeasternfootball.com/win, Odds Worth Betting. So let's talk about defense a little bit. Anything of note? Anything? I know Alabama's more set. Seems like you have a lot more battles, especially with the quarterback, probably the big thing on offense. But the defense seems a little bit more set.
Yeah, it's it's some consistency there, experience. Kirby Smart had a press conference today. He talked about the lack of defense that the team played last year, how they just didn't accomplish any of their goals, didn't dominate the line of scrimmage like they want to. That was pretty obvious in the Ohio State game in the Sugar Bowl. I was actually watching that replay the other day, and as soon as Landon Collins came out of that game with that injury, you just felt like something bad was about to happen. And he was the leader on defense, and unfortunately, at the time, he was really the only leader that Bama had on defense. We had guys that were capable of being leaders, but they just never stepped up. And that was the game-changing play of that game. When Collins got hurt, he come out of the game, and then of course on the very next play, Ohio State took it 90-something yards for the game-winning touchdown.
Well, I tell you, it's funny. I went back and reviewed the video of that game last night in anticipation of talking about it. And I don't know if anybody else noticed this or not, but right after he came out of the game, I saw some of those guys on the sideline start answering their cell phones, and I think they were getting calls about the draft. That's what the problems were.
Yeah. Well,
sorry.
I can assure you that didn't happen, but yeah.
I couldn't resist, man. I'm sorry.
Looking at each other going, what are you guys doing next week? Yeah. Party at my house. That's the key, is becoming more physical, getting that mentality back that no one is going to beat them. No one's going to get that big play. And, it's the world of college football that we live in today, with all offenses like Auburn, offenses like Oregon, offenses like Baylor and TCU, and even the offense that Bama brought on the field last year, the big play is going to happen from time to time. I mean, you can't stop it. There's too much talent offensively. But what Bama has to do is they have to get back to minimizing those big plays and dominating that line of scrimmage, and being that team that that everybody's scared of, being the defense that's the offensive line quivers when they line up against those big beasts on the front.
Yeah, I'll tell you, and maybe we should, before the season starts, do a show about X's and O's and issues like that, because Auburn's problem with getting beat with big plays is a little bit different than Alabama's, but that's been a problem. And like you said, the way offenses are run now, you're not going to avoid the big play every game all season.
That's right.
It's impossible. But I tell you that Alabama defense last year didn't have that signature Alabama defensive stamina, will, force, focus, intensity. It just wasn't there, and I think everybody knew it. I think you knew it pretty early on.
Yeah, we did. And last year was the first year we've seen it across the entire defense. We've been seeing problems and holes in the secondary for the last several years. And last year we saw it in linebackers, we saw it in defensive linemen, saw it in defensive ends. I mean, it was just, I don't know, it was just a team we weren't used to seeing. And, Kirby touched on that, and, all the off-season meetings that him and Coach Saban had about what they were going to do to, improve and get better. And really, it looks like the players, they've had those same meetings with the players. These guys have come to camp. They say Reuben Foster's in the best shape he's ever been in. He put on some weight, which is just amazing because that dude was already a tank. And, anybody that got in his way, he just absolutely annihilated. I mean, it was always fun watching him on special teams last year because every time somebody fielded a kick, he was going to knock their helmet off of them.
Yeah.
Deshaun Hand, he's improved. He's slimmed up some, added more muscle. These guys are ready to play ball. I think the ability to keep up with the hurry up, no huddle. I think we're going to see a different team this year. I think we're going to see guys that can handle that pressure.
Yeah, and I tell you what, the one thing about Alabama is they've always had, because I think to if you're going to beat a hurry up team, I think you have to do a couple things. You have to be really well conditioned, and then you have to, at every opportunity possible, rotate. And a lot of teams don't really have the luxury of being able to do that, but that's one of the things that always got me about Alabama is they're always good 3 deep. So you have the personnel to rotate. You just have to have the game plan to do it. I'll tell you that I've looked at the schedules, and that'll probably be another show I'd like to do before kickoff is run down the schedule and look at predictions and what needs to happen and what needs to be better. But I think that's one of those things is I think the schedules for Auburn and Alabama this year are more favorable for the defense, I think, than they have been in years past. So that's one of the good things for Alabama. If they can get that edge back and the schedule looks a little bit better as far as the way they've got a scheme, I think it could lead to good things for them. Be good to see, though, man. I love, I'm not an Alabama fan, but I love watching Alabama play Alabama football. That's what I want to see. And I know you can relate to that. I like to see that. I like to see that defense punishing people in the fourth quarter going, y'all real sad y'all showed up today, ain't you?
Yep, make them quit. Make them quit. You got to take their will and desire to play football away from them and make them quit and give up.
Well, there you go. There's our Alabama podcast for this week. If you're interested at all in listening to the Auburn podcast, we do that as well. It comes down on the same subscription. So if you want to subscribe to the podcast on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, or whatever, you can do all that by going to southeasternfootball.com, or you can just log into whatever service you use and search for Tigers and Tide. And, of course, the new announcement, of course, we have the Android app is ready now, so Android users are not out in the cold, just like iOS users. You can download our free app. You have the show delivered to your phone every single week. All you got to do is either search for Tigers and Tide, or you can just go click links on the website on any of the podcast pages, and you'll be able to do that. And something new that we've introduced this week, which I'm kind of excited about, is we've jumped on board with Patreon, so you guys can team up and be partners with us on the show. If you like the show, you want to be a part of the show, you just want to give us a hat tip, and by hat tip I mean $1. Or two. You can do that, and really, you really can do as little as $1. But if you want to start in at the minimum levels to be supporters, we've got rewards in there ranging from giving shout-outs on the show to listing you as a super fan on the website and things like that, all the way up to you coming on and being on the show with us, man. If you want to be a guest host on the show with us, whether you're an Alabama or Auburn fan, there's a level for you can do that. And all the way up to a level where we'll actually just rename the show for you, which I think is fantastic. And if you own Bob's Rib Shack down in the corner, you come in at that level, we will rename this the Bob's Rib Shack Alabama Crimson Tide podcast. And you get, the cool thing about the levels is, like, if you come in at that level, you not only get that, but you get everything that's included in all the lower levels. So you also get the shout outs. You also get little ads in the show. You get to come on and be a guest and all that. So it's a fun way for us to connect with each other and have some fun this season. So I invite you to check that out. All you got to do is go to southeasternfootball.com, and you can click on the Patreon link at the top of the page, or you can go straight there by typing in southeasternfootball.com/support, southeasternfootball.com/support. Buddy, it was really fun, and I can't wait till next week, man. I get more excited by the day.
Me too, man. Me too. I'm, this preseason NFL stuff is about to kill me. All you see on ESPN is NFL, until college football season actually starts, and then it gets serious. Man, I'm so excited. I just can't bear it.
I love it. We'll talk to you next week, same time, same channel. How's that sound?
All right, sounds good, buddy.
All right, War Eagle, man.
Roll Tide.
Thanks for listening. Download our free iOS app. Just search for Tigers and Tide in the App Store. And subscribe to our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn, and iHeartRadio. Just search for Tigers and Tide. And for the latest SEC news, log on to southeasternfootball.com.